Wait, no, that's the wrong podcast intro. Welcome back to the AnythingCast.
I'm Eric.
I'm Will.
And this is the AnythingCast with Eric and Will once again.
Turns out the drugs we gave Patrick to regrow his head exploded it again, and it just keeps growing and exploding.
Mm-hmm.
And so we just went to the other side of the ship so that the screams wouldn't distract.
He'll be fine soon.
Like, he doesn't get to scream long. It wouldn't be a problem if it was like a constant scream. The problem is it's like a
Well, I feel like we're doing something right because the head is regrowing.
It's just accelerated.
Yeah, I mean...
It's like going at like 10 times speed.
I mean, it's slowing down, though. So I figure
Is
eventually he'll just start regrowing a head and keeping it for a little while.
Maybe. It didn't seem slower to me.
We'll see in like 2 more episodes, including this one.
Yeah, something like that.
Maybe. Something along those lines, perhaps.
You want to know a fun fact?
Oh, hit me. I love myself some factoids.
Giraffes will drink each other's piss to see if they're in heat or not.
Oh, yeah, that's actually pretty gross, but
right
not
down
really
there,
all that weird.
Rolls his tongue up.
Yeah, just get in there and,
just
get a
lets
little
it
taste.
fly.
See if they're good to go or not,
That's crazy. I learned about that sometime this week, and I was like, what the fuck?
I don't feel like it's that crazy, considering I work with dogs all the time, and they're constantly shoving their noses up each other's anuses.
You ready?
And it's like, it's not that weird to see 2 male dogs walk up to each other and lick the tips of each other's penises.
Yeah.
Just because they're just getting information. Don't get me wrong, they're both pretty chill if they're letting each other do that, because obviously if they were being aggressive, they wouldn't, but...
Imagine if we were that cute. Like, hey, bro, you horny right now? You preeing right now?
No, they're really just sniffing like the smell of the urine and stuff like that. Just like, hey man, I see you've had Mexican lately. Like.
Imagine if like I came in and I was just like, hi Eric, I can tell your week's been pretty good.
Yeah, I mean that's what they're doing. And so knowing shit like that, watching males and females do all sorts of stuff to each other, it's just like, no, it's not that weird that giraffes drink on each other's urine occasionally.
So, Eric, I suspect, because we didn't grow up together, and we've only met really through this podcast, we don't talk to each other as much as, like, say, Patrick, Patrick talk.
Correct. Yeah, we're both closer friends with Patrick than we are each other, and we met mainly through the beginning of this podcast. And you're a little younger than I, if I'm not too mistaken.
Yeah.
You're in your late 20s, I'm in my mid-30s, so...
Yeah, so there's definitely a degree of separation.
Absolutely.
So, how's your week been?
That's been pretty all right.
Yeah, what'd you been up to?
I've been cleaning up around the house.
Smoking weed every day.
Oh, yeah, I do smoke weed every day. Yeah, that too. So I guess that's not too different between us, other than the fact that you like eat it and vape it, and
I don't eat it. I mean, I guess I'll do edibles, but
well, that would be eating it.
But I don't. That's not my thing. I prefer smoking it.
Okay, you say smoking it, but I see you mostly do vapes. Do you also smoke the sticky icky back home?
I will. I'm not cool enough to know plugs, nor do I go to supremacists to buy any of my stuff.
A plug's a plug, but go on.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I'm not. Well, no, I'm not cool with anyone to know a plug. And I'm not willing enough to ask someone I know to, I guess, risk buying extra for me. Personally, I guess. Do you know what I mean? Do you get what I'm saying? Because it's still illegal. It's not like
it's getting close to being completely legal, but
yeah. And I would trust me. I would be right there with you with a portable tray, rolling up a fucking, I don't know what you call them, a stick.
A fatty.
Yeah, a big fatty.
Big old.
It looked like a fucking
doobie.
twisty straw. All right.
Not sure that doesn't.
It probably wouldn't
quite
be good,
right,
but I've seen pictures of those crazy. Have you ever seen like joints that are just like wild?
I have. After Pineapple Express came out, we did in fact create 2 or 3 cross joints.
Yeah.
But I got to be honest, waste of weed for the most part.
Oh, it probably is. Yeah, I could see why it would be. I mean, I can't imagine you get good drags from long joints.
Mm-hmm.
2, I can't imagine the drag would be very good if you are twisting it.
I mean, there's just not much of a point to it.
Well, other than look cool.
I mean, yeah, but weed's expensive. You know? So, like, I don't really want to waste a whole lot of it when, like, each individual, section of the cross joint could get me, like, high for a whole afternoon by myself.
Whoa. Let's be pragmatic here, Eric. We're not pulling out the twisty straw joints for any old thing, for a Friday afternoon, you know what I mean?
Yes.
We're here at a house party where it's midnight, and we're like, oh, shit, we're still up. Time to bring out the twisty straw joints.
Okay, I'm still not sure about this twisty straw joint. I've never seen a joint that looks like a twisty straw.
It's a way of me expressing a crazy looking joint.
I have seen some unique designs before, but generally speaking, they're all mostly wasteful. I mean, your simple straight blunter joint will get the job done, and I'm so conservative about it. You know, I prefer like pipes and small bongs.
See, I very much wish tobacco pipe would work with a weed. They need, and I know they do. I know they have.
They do. It depends on what type you get.
You have to do modifications, and it's honestly because of what you have to. Well, it's not hard. It's not hard modifications.
It's a forest from
it's
the
just
trees
annoying.
problem here. It's like you can smoke any amount of tobacco from a weed pipe, but you can't smoke weed
from a tobacco pipe very well.
Some tobacco pipes.
Standard issue tobacco pipes, you cannot smoke weed.
It depends on how honest they're being about it too. Like, like what is a tobacco pipe and what is a weed pipe?
Well, the problem with it is the way the tobacco pipe is designed is the actual problem with it, because there's no filter for the seeds and other miscellaneous stuff in weed.
Okay, hold on. There shouldn't be any seeds in it by the time it's gotten into your pipe.
No, there shouldn't be, but I mean, there could be.
That's not something you need to account for when making the pipe.
Look, I'm just telling you what I've read online.
I mean, if people put like actual grass and pine straw in their pipe, that doesn't matter. That has nothing to do with what it was initially designed for.
So, like, you have to have like a screen for like to filter, and then
not necessarily.
You got to be able to like clean the long tube or whatever.
Well, you still need to do that with tobacco pipes too. The difference is resin that you get off of tobacco, the greasy leftovers that the tar that like develops in there. For tobacco by itself, it's going to be thin and somewhat loose. So like a simple pipe cleaner, a small twist of metal, with some cotton fashioned in between it will clean that out no problem. Simple and easy. You smoke weed out of the same pipe, all of a sudden you need to get something in there that can like scrape it out.
Yeah, because
weed resin is like viscous.
Yeah, it's glue.
It's
like
glue. It'll
syrupy.
It is. And it will clog up your tobacco pipe. You could still use it, and it would work for the first 30 or 4 bowls maybe.
Yeah.
Depending on how big the pipe was.
Right.
And then it's just going to get clogged. And especially if you're using a nice old wooden pipe,
right?
Your options for scraping it out become limited because you're going to damage the pipe.
I'm not a fan of glass pipes. I don't like the effect of looking like a crackhead. It's not my thing, not my goal, not my objective.
Glass pipes are actually some of the most efficient ways to do it, though.
Really?
Yes.
I would have figured it'd been the wooden.
No, because glass,
just paper.
You're not getting anything other than what you're putting the bowl in it. A wood pipe, you're smoking a little bit of the wood every time. Metal pipes, you're getting a little bit of that metal stuff in there. It's actually like aluminum and stuff. Even the stuff I use for my custom pieces, like aluminum foil and stuff, not super duper good for you. The ideal, and you can make a bong or a pipe out of glass. The only reason I don't use them more often, and this is the only downside to glass smoke pieces, is that they are fragile. No matter how thick you make them, they can be shattered.
Of course.
And you don't want to make them too thick or anything either, because with weed, again, the whole point is you got that viscous resin stuff, so you need like openings in it that you can put a small tool in to like scrape out like the resin and stuff whenever it gets like super clogged, So that's the whole difference in philosophy between a tobacco pipe and a weed pipe. Tobacco can be much narrower, and it works good for it, concentrating the smoke and the like.
Yeah.
And then weed pipes need to be big and open. That way they don't clog up super quickly with the much more viscous resin that comes after it.
Ah, I see.
So you can do one in the other. Smoking a bunch of tobacco, loose leaf in a weed pipe. If it's got a screen in it, not a big problem. If it's one of those ones with just a hole in the bottom, it's probably going to shit on you a little bit more. Little bits are going to come out and jump into your mouth as you're smoking it.
Right. I'm a big fan of hookah. I like hookah a lot.
Hookah's another problem if you're in the weed world specifically.
Yes. Like you'd think hookah, someone would design a hookah that is perfect for weed, You'd think that'd be a mass market thing.
A lot of people smoke
weed from a hookah.
And
I know that's a thing.
One thing is okay, so they got a lot of cheap weed and tobacco in places where hookahs are common. So you can smoke both like separately and together out of your hookahs if you want. Also, a lot of places like in the Middle East are also dry countries where they don't drink alcohol either. Yeah. So it's very common for people to go to coffee and tea houses and have communal hookahs, with
I wish we had more communal
little herb,
hookah
little tobacco,
houses.
Stuff like that.
That'd be cool.
But one trick with hookahs is that when you're using it the normal way, you'll put a kind of like a charcoal brick on the top and then have your product right underneath in a middle pan area. And then as everyone hits on it, the heat from the charcoal goes down and lights up the product. You have to have a fistful of fucking marijuana.
Oh yeah.
To get anything set up in there.
That's true.
And it's just difficult. Places in the Middle East and stuff, they have hashish, concentrates that are all bricked up. It's super thick, so it doesn't burn quickly.
Yeah.
So they put chunks of that in there, and then everybody takes a couple of hits off of it and stuff, and it's super strong, so everybody's feeling pretty good. And they might also mix that up with some tobacco products and stuff like that, kind of like I do.
Right.
And then everybody just kind of takes occasional tokes off of it, drinks their tea, drinks their coffee, and bada bing, bada boom. And cool. Yeah, that's one thing I really like about Middle Eastern culture.
It does seem cool.
Yeah, they got the chill part down. Now, don't get me wrong, no women are allowed.
Yeah, it depends on where you are. For example, Syria has some autonomous zones, the AANES, I think they're called, where they are nope, women are completely equal. Do not discriminate against them. Yeah. Now, granted, they're a rebellion group, technically.
Well, and I mean, super conservative Christians don't treat women as equals either.
Yeah. Super conservative Christians are just as much of crazy.
They're just as bad as super conservative Muslims.
They're just as bad as the Taliban, Hamas, Hezbollah.
Oh, absolutely. Especially the extremist groups like the Westboro Baptist Church.
Yeah.
That's just Hezbollah in the West. You guys are no distinction.
Only reason they're not shooting down ships is because we get Burger King.
I think all of them should be shot.
Yeah.
Extremist terrorist groups and stuff. Anyone who says, my religion says I'm allowed to kill you. It's nope. Can't have that.
No.
That's where I draw the fucking line, bro. You can do whatever you want for your religion. That's fine. As I've said before, I don't care if you want to live under Sharia law.
I won't even say that.
If you choose to do it, then power to you. But you gotta choose.
Oh yeah. Well, if you're the one doing it, then yeah.
Yeah. No, forcing other people to do it is wrong.
That's crazy.
Choosing to do it yourself, even though I don't believe in that shit, I'm just wow, that's actually very big of you to make such a a super concentrated thing, and especially if it's a woman who wants to live under conservative Islam. It's just no, I want to be super conservative. I don't want people to look at me in public and stuff. I want to stay at home most of the time. If I go out in public, I want to cover up. like it's almost like a social anxiety person's dream job is being a Muslim wife, you know? Like,
in some aspects, yeah, I suppose so.
and, you know, again, it just depends on what works for you.
Yeah.
You know, and again, you can be a Muslim wife and not be a conservative shut-in person.
Oh, absolutely.
Like,
there's
again,
so many. I've seen so many Muslim wives who are not.
Yeah,
shut-ins.
there's like a couple billion people who are Muslims. I promise you, they're not all the same.
Well,
and you can live some pretty different lifestyles all under the umbrella of Islam.
much like Christianity, and I'm sure every other religion. I'm sure there are so many different sects of Muslim religion.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, and my opinions are mostly based off of American Muslims that I know.
Yeah, right.
You know, because the American Muslims I know, even the more
liberal.
conservative ones, are pretty fucking reasonable.
And tend to be pretty liberal.
Yeah. Like, and I got nothing, man. Like, none of them have been bad. They're just people. In fact, usually they're pretty inspiring. They're like, you know,
well, okay, so
first generation.
Fun fact: you want to know why a
immigrants.
lot of them tend to be, how to put this?
You about to say something racist here?
No, not racist. I'm just trying to put this in a way that's not disrespectful to the people who had to stay in the war-torn country.
Oh, people who had the opportunity to go,
basically,
as opposed to people who didn't.
They basically had the opportunity because basically what happened is after 20 years of bombing their cities and whatnot, all of their doctors and scientists and educated people
who could get jobs
just came
overseas
here.
left.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're all in fucking
they
Switzerland,
came here and went to Europe,
France, United States. I mean, you know, maybe some of them are in Egypt and Morocco, some of the places who aren't really getting any of the real attacks, you know.
Sure.
Like, they're still involved, but, like, you know, Northern Africa.
Yeah.
You know, as
Is
soon as you
Morocco still a
hop
thing?
over into Arabia, it starts to get weird. But, or the Arabian Peninsula, I guess. Saudi Arabia. There is no Arabia. I don't know. Chances are no one who lives down there uses any of these names.
Yeah.
Which pisses me off to this day that we just renamed everyone's countries. Like, it really makes discourse with people who live in those countries way more difficult than it should be.
And I think the funniest thing about it though is it's just some guy who just could not for the life of him pronounce the fuck out of this name of whatever goddamn country he was in. So he was just like, you know what? Papua New Guinea. That's what it is now.
I mean, I'm not even sure if Japan is supposed to be pronounced Nippon or Nihon. And quite frankly, the fact that I call it Japan is just a long chain of lazy bastardizations of the name that got passed down.
The Japanese use Japan for themselves also.
Do what?
The Japanese use Japan for themselves. They've adopted it. They're okay with it.
They didn't adopt it. They adopted the ability to speak.
They adopted my motherfucking nuke is what they adopted.
Fucking global economics. Okay.
They'll adopt another goddamn nuke if they don't accept Japan.
Give me a third one,
Yeah.
but I digress. No, they just they realized that the language of trade was English. Because England fucking
ruled the seas, baby.
Ruled the seas and got
Actually, it was
global
us.
trade.
We opened Japan's trade.
Well, we opened Japan's, but England made sure that we spoke English.
Oh yeah, well, that's fair.
And also the Australians speak English, and also
New Zealand.
New Zealand speaks English. Canada speaks English. We speak English. English, I think, accounts for one of the most spoken languages on the face of the planet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know what the, I think, fourth most spoken language is?
Fourth, you say. So I imagine Chinese is second or third.
Yeah.
We're going to not get into the different dialects because there's literally like 3 or 4 languages under the umbrella of quote-unquote Chinese.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get into that, like Cantonese, Mandarin, and stuff. They're quote-unquote dialects, but they're literally different languages just about.
They are.
And we're not talking like a super southern Mississippian talking to like a super city northerner.
Does China have a national language? Like, because for us, it's English. Obviously, there's some people who can speak French, or some people who can speak Spanish. There's people who can speak whatever. But like nationally, we're like everyone should at least be able to read English, right?
Yes, they have a lingua franca. They have I want to say it's either Mandarin or Cantonese, and I'm leaning towards Cantonese. But again, my knowledge of Chinese linguistics is low.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they choose one for their state records and everything else, and anything else is just regional. I don't know which one it is, but yes, I do believe that one is the state language, and then the other two or
it's
three...
just more widely spoken, I think, right?
Yeah. It's, well, or at the very least, it's the most widely spoken amongst the ruling class.
Right.
Just like Latin. You know?
And then the first or second would be like whatever that is that the majority of Indians speak. I don't remember.
Well, that's actually kind of up in the air too. I don't think India speaks one language.
No, they speak like the each.
They also have 3 or 4 different languages.
Each region has like there's like 5 in total, I think. And
India is not a single
my
united
understanding,
country.
Though, there is one dominant language.
India is almost kind of like the United States, except less united. Like, there's like a whole lot of different cultures and subgroups in there.
India is so weird, man.
But they're also like 5 times as old as us.
India is so strange.
They are. They're very strange. They have some of the oldest fucking traditions left on the face of the planet.
It's some of the oldest society in history, aside from China.
Yeah. I mean, like, and China has fucking wiped its own slate clean multiple times, whereas India has not.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. There's plenty of shit that's gotten lost from, like, the olden days. Just, like...
China broke itself multiple times.
Yeah. China was whole again.
Yeah.
And then it broke again. Yeah.
Speaking of Japan, there's a Japanese surreal drama coming out. The Box Man. It's a movie about a man who gives up his identity to live with a cardboard box over his head to meet a range of characters in Tokyo. And this, I was reading the summary, I guess this is the summary of this.
Okay.
And I'm just like, I'm so intrigued.
So the idea is that you're just anonymous.
I don't know. I don't know what the idea is. Like, it's a surreal drama. Just a guy who is now a box man. What kind of characters do you think he's going to meet? Like, do you think he'll meet, like, the Fazbear crew? I don't know. Anything could happen.
Honestly, it sounds a lot less interesting than that. I mean, not that I'm saying it's a bad concept. I just mean, to me, it sounds more like, like either a drama or a reality TV show.
Yeah, but what's the drama?
The drama
he meets interesting characters. That's the drama, obviously.
He completely abandons his previous identity and starts completely fresh with no face.
Yeah.
Basically, like, now I'm a faceless man starting from scratch, and here are the relationships that develop. And then, like, you can either go for a reality TV style thing where you, like, pull people in off the street or something like that, and, like, have them all live in an apartment together, blah, 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 or just, like, work together, anything. Really.
I think he's going to meet, like, other characters who have things on their heads. Like...
Okay.
Furry suit head person.
Okay.
That's like a rabbit or something.
He chooses to have a blank face.
Yeah, everyone else has an expressive.
Most people cover their faces with an expressive face.
Yeah. That's what I think it's going to be.
I feel like you're going off in your own direction here, but it's not a bad direction. There's a chance that could be what it's about, but I feel like it's really low. But, like, I feel like your idea is kind of more creative than what they're going for. Might be less viable, but I'd certainly say it's
just like a traffic cone as a head.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me of some other, like, anime and special productions I've seen where, like, everyone wears a mask. And there's always, like, a really specific purpose of every mask everyone wears, Like, either everybody wearing the same mask, except, like, one person. Or everybody, you'll be wearing completely different masks, and each individual mask for each character will say a lot about who they are and
or
what
just
like their
what they
deal
do
is supposed to be.
all the time. That's who they are. Like
this is what
just society thinks of. Like my example, traffic cone man. could probably just be like the guy who stands at the crosswalk every day.
Yes. And like, it could be like, yeah, like that, where it's like mental disability level of like committing to the job. And like, it could just be that we're dealing with like metaphorical personifications of actual items that the person is slowly losing his mind and starting to have conversations with.
Oh, yeah.
And so like you have
too.
them walk up to them as like people wearing normal clothes, but then with just the mask. And it's just like, I'm the traffic cone. And you have whole conversations with a traffic cone, but in reality, you're just a man standing on the curb talking to a traffic cone. Like, you're not really having a conversation with a person with a mask. You've literally lost your sense of self so much that you can't tell the difference between another person and a traffic cone.
That would be interesting. Like an interesting journey through like schizophrenia, essentially.
Honestly, the word surreal is carrying a lot of weight.
It is.
When it comes to this interpretation.
It is.
Because if they'd used some other word, we wouldn't really be having such a robust
it was just
conversation.
Japanese drama, the box man.
Yeah, one, it's Japanese drama, so automatically we know it has the potential to be very weird.
Yeah.
And then
it has the potential to go so all the way. And I don't know how to express it other than all the way.
And like I surface level know like some of the differences between modern American and modern Japanese culture.
Yeah.
Like enough
like on
to
a surface level you can understand some differences.
Right. And you know, I know certain things about like how polite they are in society, how like not everyone actually believes what they're saying. You know,
like
kind of like when you say "What's up" to a stranger, or "How you doing?" You're not really asking them a real question. The answer needs to be one word. You know, fine. Yeah, I'm doing okay.
Doing good.
Doing all right.
Better than I deserve.
Doing good. Doing good. How about you? You know. I'm making it. You know, and then like you and that stranger part never to see each other again.
Yeah.
There was no real interaction intended by that. That's Japan in a nutshell. You're all supposed to say that, and no one is supposed to look any deeper.
What I think is interesting is the idea that someone can give up all of their identity and be a faceless person by wearing a cardboard box over their head and still being able to live their life effectively. I could only believe it be possible in a place like Japan.
I mean, Japan does feel like a good environment for it, but I feel like for some people in like the land of the internet and all knowledge being known, or
there's no way you could go into Walmart and like buy groceries as a box head man.
You could.
No, you couldn't.
You could.
You could not.
Could.
You would get kicked out.
No, you wouldn't.
You would.
No.
Yeah, manager would come up to you and be like, I'm sorry, you have to take off the box.
People go into Walmart with their faces covered all the time. It's fine.
No, I think you'd get kicked out.
Not in the modern day.
From my experience working in retail.
So if I went in there with a hat and a medical mask on, you think they'd kick me out?
No, but that's different.
Why? I'm still covering everything.
Because of social perception.
Yeah, well.
One, you're socially perceived as doing something normal. And being
depends
fine.
on how big the box is, I guess. Then,
I mean,
like,
it's covering his whole head.
All it has to do is be big enough for a head, so a hat box, that's not too crazy. I could just think they're wearing some sort of costume.
No. You're taking this outside of the range of what it is. No, we're talking like full-on Amazon shipping box, poke like the little hole through it so you can see.
Yeah, who says it has to be any particularly bigger than their head? I assume this thing is
that's
something
that's
they
what
can
it
walk
is.
around
It
with.
covers their head, and the only thing that I saw from the poster...
Oh, there's a picture.
There's a poster. Was that their eyes could be seen because they had to poke a hole through the little handle thing.
Right, to see.
Yeah. So there's no way you're getting away with that in Walmart.
Bro, this is Mississippi. You can walk into a Walmart with a gun on your hip.
Again, socially acceptable.
I mean, if they don't have a gun on their hip, I feel like as a
Again,
Walmart
socially
employee,
acceptable.
I would just let that shit ride. It kind of depends on the Walmart employees, I guess. But like at the end of the day,
I'd see that's what I'm saying. I don't think it rides with a manager.
Well, okay. Here's what's up, dude. Like, what would be your fear from a guy with a cardboard box?
Nothing.
Coming in
A
on his
manager's
head?
fear? My store looking bad. Yeah, because a manager.
Why does your store look bad?
Because if you're thinking about it from a store manager's perspective,
Okay.
as someone who gets bonuses and shit from your store being shopped at, if I'm
You're making a
allowing...
lot of assumptions here.
No, I'm not, because I worked retail for 10 years. I worked very closely with a store manager. I know a lot of stuff that he thought about and the way he did
True.
things.
Sorry, I've done management, just never for retail.
Okay, I mean that's fair, but I was a store
They
manager.
didn't give me
I was
bonuses for
a
dick
department manager and
all.
a store manager, so I feel like I know a little bit about.
Fair enough.
Thanks.
Fair enough. Go on though.
So like, from my experience with the manager I had, the store manager I had, his thing would be like, he wouldn't be like, he's not hateful. Like he wouldn't be hateful towards Boxman. It would just be like, I can't let this store be perceived as I let crazy people in here doing crazy people stuff. Now, like, he might let the guy go in here like once, twice, do his thing, come out, whatever. I promise you it's not lasting. Because
Okay, that's actually a little bit more fair, because if it came all the time, I might have to ask why. If I just saw it once, I might look for a minute and be like,
if he's not acting
I'm
crazy,
going back to stocking the shelf.
I
or
get it.
like, I'm going back to, let's say I'm the manager. It's like, look up, see him on the security camera. Yeah, I'm going back to filling out this order form. I am not going to deal with
That's because you don't want to
today.
engage with Boxhead Meg because you're
Right,
not a store
like,
manager,
you
but
know.
the store manager has to engage.
But 2 weeks later, and the 5th time you've seen him come in, now you're just like, okay,
also,
what's the deal with the fucking box?
There's
Like,
no world where you see on a camera, you're back there in your office doing some paperwork, you look up, you see Boxhead Man, that you're not watching Boxhead Man the entire time he's in the store. I know the manager I worked with would not have taken his eyes off that man.
I
100%
don't know
of
what
the
the
time.
difference in expectations are, because I have been...
But the expectation is he's a crazy person.
Well, no. I mean, difference in expectations for the job title of being a retail manager as opposed to being a manager at like some food service places I've been at.
Well, the thing is, it's not necessarily just a manager. Like, say, a deli manager probably doesn't give a shit. A produce manager probably doesn't give a shit. The reason a store manager would give a shit, the same reason a floor warehouse manager would give a shit, the same reason a
Non-employees aren't supposed to be in the warehouse.
oh well, I'm just like being head, I'm talking about the head titles of the building.
The man with his face covered
Whoever
came
it
into
is
the warehouse. I
who's
would
in
call the
charge,
police.
whoever it is who's in charge of the building overall, their main concern is the perception of this establishment.
Okay.
And so, like, I'm just saying, I don't think with the way America works, you get away with that for very long.
I think that you're right, but it would still depend a little bit on the human in question. Like, how offensive they consider the box head.
Of course.
Because
I
feel like
they're going to go up to him and just like beat him up and kick him out.
I definitely feel like it made more sense when you added in that it would be like the 3rd or 4th time before they actually did something. Because, the first time it's just like, okay, just a weirdo in Walmart, I'm not going to stop my day for this. A weirdo walks into Walmart every day. But
I might
the
watch
same
him to
weirdo,
make sure he's not a super weird, like he's not a dangerous weirdo.
Yeah, I mean, you might watch him at first, but if he doesn't do anything, then you just, throw out the thought, dismiss it, and move on with your fucking day. This, once again, is America. So weirdos are all over the place. And while, sure, plenty of them are obnoxiously weird, a lot of them are harmless. Most of them are harmless. They're just going to come, they're going to go, and then you don't need to worry about it anymore. We're weird. Excuse me.
And I'm not trying to say mentally ill people are harmful. I'm saying...
I like how you're assuming that Boxhead is mentally ill. That's you're doing a lot of assumptions there. Who says it's not just a social experiment?
No, I'm saying that I think society as a whole would view Boxman as mentally ill.
Well, I would definitely assume it's more likely that he's mentally ill than that he's not.
I think like if I'm just thinking the way a store manager would think in America, I'm like, I'm not going to let this guy shop here. Sorry, guy, you got to go to Food Giant or something.
Kind of like this twitchy, balding man that walks right past our front door sometimes. And like he's wearing like a wife beater shirt. And he's kind of like, he's walking down like a road that has nothing but businesses on it.
You know what the real thing is, though?
And I'm
It's
just like-
actually if they talk to people. Usually if they keep to themselves, I would notice this actually. If the crazy person that we'd occasionally have come in the store and like just be the store crazy person.
Well, what I don't understand with my guy is that like he walks along the side of the road the rest of the time. Then when it comes to my place where we deal with animals, he decides to walk down into our parking lot and walk right past our front door.
He's
And
wearing
I'm
like a
just like-
backpack with a flag on it, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I think I have seen that guy.
I thought I knew who you were talking about.
I've seen that
I was like, that
guy.
guy's harmless. He's whatever. I don't know the guy you're talking about though.
No, but
I don't know Twitchy. I haven't seen him.
No, there was one guy who I swear to God also looked like a crazy drug addict. And as he passed, like, I ran to my car and grabbed my gun and like was just like, we're going to keep this on for a minute.
You know that guy with the...
None of my coworkers were just like, that's weird for me. They were just like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy had spray paint on his body. I'm really not sure what was going on there. So everyone basically agreed.
Valhalla!
Yeah, exactly. If
Witness
that guy
me!
comes through the door, there's a decent chance that, and also since I work in animal care, and you'll never believe this, in the current business I work in, I am one of 3 male employees of a staff of 40.
No.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed.
Yeah. So like, and any
It's
given
crazy
day,
to me how I don't want to say underrepresented because that feels like the wrong word. But it is the word that would describe what I'm thinking.
Okay.
I'm going to use it, but it is the wrong word. I want you to know.
Okay.
It's weird how what was the word I was going to use?
Underrepresented.
Underrepresented men are in vets and like animal shelters.
It's an empathy thing. It's gay for men to show empathy,
Ah, okay.
which is why one of the 3 of us is gay.
Yeah, that is the statistic.
And when I was at the shelter, that was pretty much still the statistic there. I think I worked with 3 gay men and 4 straight men. So once again, the statistic is upheld.
Oh yeah, it is, huh? That's crazy. Wow.
It's basically 1 out
Okay.
of 3.
Hey,
Men will represent a 1 out of 5 at best in animal care.
Yeah.
And amongst them, 1 out of 3 of those men is gay.
Huh.
Yeah, that's what I've seen anyway.
So
That's in Mississippi too.
if anyone's good at like statistics or it does math as a hobby,
And watches this show amongst the 2,000 subscribers and the
well,
53 people who may or may not watch this show.
38 minutes in, they're watching the show, I think.
Yeah, okay. By the time you got to this, you probably give a fuck. That's fair.
Yeah. If you care to do the math, I would love to know, like, via the U.S. male population, what's like the straight to gay ratio?
Yeah, I wonder what that is.
Yeah, right.
I'm
Like
pretty sure
I've
that-
always heard it's 3 to 1, right? Isn't that what we said? Or
No.
like, 2
Jesus,
to 1.
no. Not
2 to 1.
No, Jesus. No. I'm pretty sure it's 10 to 1.
10 to 1.
I mean, just gays in general.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Last
yeah,
time
yeah,
I
yeah.
checked, like, homosexuality was like a 10% thing, which is honestly kind of high when you think about it.
I think it's higher than that.
In the human population, you think there's more than 10% are homosexual?
Yeah, I do.
I'm not sure that that's
I mean,
true.
If we're talking about the human population, yes, for
Like
sure.
global
But
human population.
Yeah, if we're talking globally, yes, for sure. And I only say that because there's a lot of repressive countries.
And yeah, there's still a lot of people out there who aren't going to say whether or not they are, so the statistics are going to suffer
But if
from
we're just
that.
talking U.S. population, which is where, it'd be,
Well,
it's
this is
okay.
somewhere where you can say that you're gay, bi, or trans without getting executed immediately. So
Which I think the U.S. population, if I'm not wrong,
that does make our statistics more accurate than everyone else's, probably.
is about 335. I think we can round up to 336 million. Keep it even.
So 336 million is our population in the United States.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you
So
think
that's the grand number.
so you're saying 1 out of 10 of that
Mm-hmm.
is gay. I'm saying 1 out of 3 of that is gay.
That's a lot, dude.
Okay, well, like
Are 1 out of 3
I'm not
people
good at
you
math.
meet
It's-
on the street gay?
quite possibly.
Do you think 1 out of 3 people on the street you meet are gay?
I mean, I'm honestly of the personal opinion that it's likely to me that by default, humans are probably just bisexual. Just on default human, probably bisexual. Because I don't think, and this is, which I've never looked into science. So if someone has a science paper that says different, I'd be happy to read it. I don't know if the gene's real, but this is what I think. I think everyone's just default is bisexual, and then later on, via society influence, the way you're raised, blah blah blah,
or just general societal necessity,
you generally pick a way or another. You just you choose what you prefer. Mm-hmm. That's just kind of the way I think it goes.
So Will.
Yeah.
I've made my feelings known on this podcast several times. I mean, if they look like a woman and I click with them, emotionally.
Are film boys hot?
That's our occasional.
Well, if the
guest
dick is
said.
feminine, Eric, I mean,
if the dick is feminine, right?
I think we've made that very clear on this show.
So, are you saying you are also low-key bisexual?
I have, like I said, I think the human by default is bisexual.
But are you one of those humans?
I will say that I don't think I could see myself being romantically involved with a man. I couldn't see it.
What about a transsexual man who happened to be a very cute lady?
If they were a real cute lady, I guess maybe. Anyway, I don't see anything wrong with that in my heart.
The dick is feminine enough. I'm just saying.
If the dick is feminine enough, I guess.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with it in my heart.
Okay, I was just making sure. Looks like we're pretty much on the same page there. Then, I mean, I'm straight for all intents and purposes, but am I entirely unwilling to make an exception? No. What's that lady who is basically 100% a supermodel lady, but just has a full-on penis?
I have no idea. Oh,
like Baily something.
Caitlyn Jenner. Isn't that her name?
Not quite. No, there were 2 of them. There was like a man with a vagina and a woman with a penis.
Oh, yeah, I do. I can't remember that. I don't know.
Patrick showed me them, and I was just like, oh, wow, that is like a man with a vagina and a woman with a penis. Like, they're...
Okay, what would be worse?
Other than the wrong genitals,
what would be worse in terms of,
exactly...
it would just mind fuck you? A bald man with a vagina, or a man with hair with a vagina, or a man with long hair and a vagina? Actually, a man with long hair and vagina probably wouldn't be that. Okay,
that would be the least mind-fuckable.
A really built, like
Arnold
bodybuilder.
Schwarzenegger in his prime.
Yeah.
With a vagina.
Yes. Because I feel like that's more uncanny. That's got to be more uncanny.
Yeah, that was like what Patrick showed me that day. That was like an incredibly handsome, built man who just happened to have a vagina. And as far as I know, that was someone who was born a woman who chose to look like a man, or needed to look like a man.
I always heard that it was photoshopped.
Really?
That's what I always heard, but I don't know.
I mean, bro, I've seen some cross-dressers, drag queens, and transsexuals in my time.
I've seen transsexuals, yeah.
That looked pretty good.
I could right now on YouTube pull up transsexual people that I am subscribed to who perfectly pass. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, just like...
but it is, to me, and I will put this out there for the public record, weird when it's a bald man with a vagina. I'm just saying, it looks weird to me.
I don't like bald women.
I strangely find bald women kind of cute.
No,
something
I'm not
about
into
the small head and small frame with the baldness. I don't know. It's kind of cute to me.
Well, put a small head and a bald head on a big frame then.
I don't like it.
No, like a big woman. Like if they're anything other than skinny
and
petite,
more.
Then it completely kills it.
But for some reason, the idea of it being a masculine presenting person, I guess,
super duper tiny short hair on
throws
a really
me
big
off.
woman.
I don't know what it is.
It's like, good God, no. Don't do that. It just makes your head look smaller on your body. It looks worse. Now, don't get me wrong. Some women can pull off a crew cut, shaved head, or that thing. And it really depends. I've seen some women crash and burn with it, and I've seen some women really own it, where they do half long hair and half shaved head.
Actually,
Like, you really gotta, like, sit down in the mirror and be honest with yourself.
It's true.
It's just like, can I do this?
You
Yes
gotta
or
have
no?
a certain face shape.
Right.
Like, you have to have kind of
know,
like a triangle face to really pull off the half shaved, half not.
Yeah, you really gotta sit down in the
Like,
mirror and be honest with yourself. It's either gonna work for you or it's not. Look, I can't wear a baseball cap. It's impossible. It makes me look like I need to jump on the short bus and go to the zoo.
Yeah, and I'm
Like,
pretty
I
good
like
at baseball.
baseball. Like, like it looks terrible. It's like, no matter what it is, it makes me look like I have a brain problem.
Yeah, and like for me, long hair or buzz cut. The in between
nothing in between.
looks awful.
Yeah. I understand, man.
I hate high and tights are just the worst.
Don't join the Marine Corps.
I kind of want to cut my hair though. I'm getting kind of tired of it. The biggest thing that's annoying me lately is that sleeping has become kind of annoying.
Yeah, I remember kind of getting used to the ponytail or the ponytail length hair while sleeping, and I was just like,
because like
it's getting in the way.
It catches. Yeah,
Yeah.
It catches, and I have to like shove it over to the side. It kind of feels weird because now like all the hair is like
Right. Or else it all bunches up and then it becomes like an absolute mess to
God.
brush out in the morning.
Yes, it's awful. It is
Right.
just the worst. I don't have time. I don't wake up early. I'm
not going to spend 30 minutes brushing my fucking hair.
I'm lazy. I'm not going to wake up 30 minutes to condition my hair.
Abso-fucking-lutely not. So then you just got to like rake it through like a
it's the
barbarian
worst. Yeah.
harvesting grain. Just pulling out clumps of hair. And we wonder why we go bald so quickly compared to women.
And
Even when we grow it out, we're just ripping it out because we're too lazy to like, treat it with anything.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. And like you'll get pissed off at the end because it gets caught. You're just like,
Yes,
you're
oh my
just
God.
you're like you're chopping something.
Ladies, in case you were wondering, of course, because there's a huge female audience listening to this podcast.
7%.
They want to know. They want to know the secrets to our beautiful hair they've never seen.
We are the Long Hair Podcast.
We are the Long Hair Podcast, though Patrick's in last place right now.
Yeah.
Me and Will are like tied for first right now with like incredibly luscious locks.
Oh yeah.
We even have similar facial hair. But
I like how your what do you call the little soul patch?
Soul patch.
Yeah, I like how your soul patch is like a bit wider on your bottom lip, but mine like goes in like a triangle. Hard to swallow pill, but Jumanji is Robin Williams' best film.
Don't tell Patrick that. He hates it.
I know. But he hates everything, so it's okay.
Editor Patrick, please deny these claims.
Editor Patrick, put your score of Jumanji on the screen right now.
And if it's anything less than a 7.5, audience, please downvote this entire video. One, it still counts as engagement, so it's not really going to hurt us in the long run. And two, he deserves it.
And leave a comment showing how much you hate his score. If it's lower than a 7.
Obviously, all three Jumanji movies, I would give the first one like an 8.5, the second one a 7.5, and the third one a 7.
I haven't seen the
Basically, they're all good.
Are you counting the second Okay, what's the second Jumanji?
Jumanji.
Okay, my second Jumanji and your second Jumanji are way different.
There's Jumanji, the movie with Robin Williams.
And then the space one. The space one's the sequel.
I'm sorry?
The space Jumanji.
No, there's just the one with
No,
The
no, no,
Rock
no,
and
no,
Kevin
no,
Hart
there's
and
the-
Jack Black.
There's
and
the astronaut space Jumanji, where the house goes to space.
No.
Yes,
No,
yeah.
there's no
I'm gonna
no
look it up for you
movie
right now.
that exists like that.
You're gonna eat
That
your
is-
words.
that
I'm
is
telling
not
you
a
right now.
thing. That's not a thing that exists.
How do you spell Jumanji?
Jumanji.
I was so close.
Jumanji. Did you say
Zarthura,
Jew?
a space adventure. Yeah.
Also,
yeah.
Zathura.
Yeah, Zathura, a space adventure.
That's
Yeah.
not Jumanji.
Get bent on.
What the fuck are you talking
motherfucker.
about?
That's space Jumanji. That's the second space Jumanji.
Explain yourself,
You
sir.
even have another person with the name Robbins in it.
That is a very tenuous connection, but please continue. I need a little bit more than that, please. I'm not familiar with this movie.
You're not
Please
familiar with this
tell
movie?
me about the unofficial sequel to Jumanji.
Okay.
I didn't know about this.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, this movie's rocks, dude.
Okay, what's it called now?
It is called 𝒂𝒄𝒅. 𝒂𝒂𝒄𝒅.
Zathura.
Yeah. And just so you know, it got a 76 on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's pretty good.
That's not bad.
It's not bad. It's a good movie. So like
That's a
this kid and
7.5
his,
out of 10. That's
it's
pretty good.
It's good. This kid and his like brother are
Okay.
fucking around in this house, and I think their mom just like leaves them there. Like she has to go work she's like a single mom.
They're
so-
latchkey kids.
Yeah. Latchkey kids, 100%.
Okay, that's not that weird.
No,
Especially not like a couple years back.
And they're left in the care. Oh, here's a summary. Actually, this would be perfect. After their father, that is their father. Excuse me, I'm just wrong on all accounts. Apparently, I don't remember this movie either. After their father is called into work, two young boys, Walter and Danny, are left in the care of their teenage sister Lisa,
Okay.
and are told that they must stay inside. Walter and Danny, who anticipate they don't appreciate a boring day at all.
They anticipate a boring
Who
day.
anticipate a boring day are shocked when they begin playing 𝒂𝒄𝒅, a space-themed board game
Okay, I was wondering where this was going to fucking
Which
tie into Jumanji.
they realize has mystical powers when their house is shot into space. With the help of an astronaut, the boys attempt to return home.
Wait, with the help of astronauts, like real astronauts?
No, with the help of like an astronaut who is just
in the game.
in the game.
Okay. Like
Ro-
American astronauts, like
Like
holy
Robin Williams
fuck,
was in
Mission
Jumanji.
Command, there's a residential house out here. We're
Yeah.
going to approach and try and save the
Look,
occupants.
it's even in the See Also Jumanji stuff.
Negative. I'm sorry, Mission Command. Every human being in this house is dead. Apparently, houses are not built to withstand the vacuum of space. Never mind. We're gonna just let this float on. We're gonna attach a bomb to it and turn it into space debris.
𝒂𝒄𝒅 cost $65 million to make. That's pretty cheap.
What'd it make back budget-wise?
Let's see. Oh, sorry, no. Excuse me. It completely evened itself out. Its budget was $65 million. It made $65,970,236 worldwide gross.
That is bad.
That's awful.
That is so bad.
So bad. Oh god, that flopped so bad. It's a really good movie though.
I mean, apparently even IMDb likes it. They were just like, yeah, it's good. 7.6.
Yeah, the budget
you know.
was $65 million, like I said. Opening weekend, it got $13 million. Ooh, that's so bad. No wonder they
Opening
killed
weekend
this.
is whether or not you know you're going to get a profit.
Yeah.
Like opening weekend is if
you
you
at
can
least
make
make
your
close,
budget.
yeah.
If you make your budget.
If you make
can
your budget, you're good.
budget in opening weekend, then you know that everything else will pay for advertising and will be profit.
At
afterwards.
minimum, make your opening budget.
But also remember, advertising. The budget doesn't count for that. It never does. In other
This
words,
was a Disney movie, by the way.
everything that they did, 65
Oh, wait, no,
million
this wasn't
is
a
how
Disney
much
movie.
it costs to make the movie.
Oh, dude, no.
Outside of that, though,
It earned
there's an
less than
unreported like
twice-
15 or 20 million.
Wait, hold on. Okay, 𝒂𝒄𝒅 is considered a flop because it earned less than twice as much in its opening weekend as Disney's animated film Chicken Little.
Ooh,
The film
Chicken Little.
Also
oh.
lost a significant amount of its audience in the following weekends due to the release of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. Ooh, and you released right into a bad release schedule. Yeah, that's horrible.
Oh, damn.
It's terrible. Domestic gross in the U.S. was $29 million total.
Oh,
Internationally,
less than half.
$35 million total. And then total worldwide, we evened out at 65, baby. So at least we evened out. At least it was a $79,000 profit.
I think that's like $700,000 less than the amount, because didn't you say it was like 65,000, like 900? Like,
$65,779,236.
yeah, so there's $700,000,
which is not accounting for
unaccounted
marketing.
for,
It's not accounting,
which costs another like $3 or $4 million if they went with the minimum.
which for this movie they probably
Since
did.
it's Disney, even
It's-
though it was,
I don't think it's Disney. I think I was wrong. It's Sony. Sony. Oh, well, no wonder it failed. It's fucking Sony.
yeah, well,
Sony
yeah.
is awful at making. Sony, I don't know if I've seen a good Sony movie in like a decade, dude. Seriously.
That's not true.
Okay, maybe not. But I don't remember a good Sony movie. I'll say that much.
I do. And it's because of their most recent horrific failures
Okay.
that I know of what their good movie is.
Go ahead.
Spider-Man. Because Morbius was hot garbage. The Venom movies barely floated.
I hate the comedy in the Venom movies.
But
It's so
like the Venom movies
bottom
are
of
at
the
least
barrel.
like financially viable.
Yeah.
Like they're all right. Like I enjoy them. I think they're fine. Like I think they're mid.
Venom is so God. I hate the humor.
Wait,
It's
wait,
so
though.
bad.
And then of course there's Madam Web.
Oh God, Madam Web.
Did you see it?
I've seen parts of it, but I know a lot about it.
I actually watched the whole thing.
What'd you
and
think?
like from start to finish, not that bad.
I-
but like I understand. Like one, I can see where it got chopped up.
I have never liked any of the clips I've seen. I'll say
Like,
that.
Well, like there's a bunch of ADR and shit in it because they completely butchered the script. Like they had like way more shit that they intended to do. And then basically they just like chopped it down because they didn't want to do like certain cameos and shit like that. They didn't want to pay for characters, blah, blah, blah. And because of that, you've got this plot that like
The
with
plot
a bunch
doesn't
of
make
like
sense. The plot doesn't make any sense. It's just
it's fine. Like it
it's like
works
there's a
in a
guy,
vacuum.
there's a spider guy. He's chasing them. He's chasing them because they can see the future.
It works in a vacuum. The only reason
Also,
like it would be like a 6 out of 10 in a vacuum.
I understand why you couldn't make her like an old lady, like in the comics.
Oh, but wait. I do want to say like we'll keep talking about this.
Go ahead.
But the reason I brought up like the Sonyverse and all the failures is because we all forget that Into the Spider-Verse 1 and 2 are also movies
you're right.
and Sony products, and
You're
those are
right.
fucking badass.
Yeah, they are good.
They're both good.
They are good. I forget that those are Sony products.
Right, because we forget
Everything
that
else
Sony
about
actually
Sony is
does,
garbage movie related.
because the live action rights to Spider-Man are currently
They
tied up with
delayed-
Marvel, so
They
don't
delayed
want
the
to do
third
too much.
Across the Spider-Verse movie.
Do what?
They had delayed the third installment of Miles Morales' trilogy
Why'd they do that?
to give the artist more time, I think.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, I think so.
I hope so. I
well,
hope that's
let's
not
hope
because
so.
of strife.
And
And
you
it's
know,
just
it's probably
because
because
they
they
need more
lost
time.
work during the strike and stuff, I'm guessing.
That too.
You know?
Which I'm glad they're not going to try and rush it out, you know, because that's resulted in several different problems.
Yeah.
You know, let's rush it out. It's like, okay, we had to remove all of the Doctor Strange cameos in WandaVision. It's like, well, those would have been pretty fucking cool. And that's like, hey, I know we're going through a huge writer's strike, but like, let's just do Secret Invasion anyway with no writers. And it's just like, oh, outside of a hardcore fan like me, I gotta admit, there was very little to go off of there. I didn't feel like my time was wasted watching it, but I don't feel like it added a lot to my life either, you know?
Man, there is not a lot of superhero movies that are doing that these days.
I do like Agatha all along, though. I've been watching that.
I haven't seen that one. I think it'd be good because I like Agatha. I think she was one of the better characters on that show.
Yeah, and to be fair, there's basically, because they're not having to like dip too far into other Marvel properties to make it work. Without saying any real spoilers, it basically picks up right after WandaVision as far as Agatha is concerned, because it's like 3 years later.
I hope they make
But
Agatha
she's-
like now that the controversy has happened and stuff. I hope Agatha becomes like the new big villain. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Like a witch character being the big villain.
Oh, she's definitely not going to be the big villain of, like, Marvel.
Who do you think is going to be the big villain of Marvel?
Oh, Doctor Doom.
Oh, yeah, it is now, isn't it? I
Yeah,
forgot
Robert
about
Downey
that.
Jr.'s Doctor Doom.
I forgot.
Because they were using Kane the Conqueror.
But yeah, the controversy happened. He be touching people.
Touching people
Supposedly.
really hard in the face who were supposed to be his girlfriend. But, you know, like, there's like
Little-
domestic dispute issues with that guy.
Little beat down happening.
Well, you know what they say. Yeah.
Supposedly.
What do you say to a woman with two black eyes? Nothing. You already said it twice.
Don't do it again.
He would have found that very funny
Probably.
like 7 or 8 months ago.
Ooh, probably. Yeah. He did go to jail, didn't he?
He did. He did not beat the charges, and Disney's PR staff did not approve.
Yeah.
You know, they don't mind Ryan Reynolds using the fuck word. You know, because one, we knew he was going to, and
Yeah.
two, he didn't make Disney look like something that like harbors predators when
Also,
he
from
did
what I
it.
understand, Ryan Reynolds is just a good person.
Yeah, he's actually just kind of all right.
Yeah.
Like
He's just an all right guy.
as far as I've seen, and we could find out later he did something terrible.
I'm
but
sure we will.
at the end of the day, as far as we know right now as a society, there's not really anything
Like-
wrong with Ryan Reynolds.
I don't know about you, but for me, every politician and celebrity, anyone significantly famous enough, I guess, for like me to know your name, but like I'm never going to be in the position to meet you kind of
Sure.
deal.
Yeah.
You're basically on a trigger for me where it's like, I guess I suspect you're
I'm waiting to find
yeah,
out why.
yeah, exactly.
Like, why?
I suspect you've done something, you're doing something.
What part of your humanity did you sacrifice?
Yeah,
to
yeah.
get
What'd
here?
you sell to the devil exactly?
Exactly. Like, you diddle
know?
kids, you stole a bunch of money, you killed some
You
dudes.
do so
like-
much drugs.
Yeah, like, you
Like-
know, the only way that you can act is by being high on cocaine,
Yeah.
drunk on alcohol, and like with, you know, 500 milligrams of Viagra.
What
Like, you know, like, what
which of
is-
the 7 sins did you let the devil stab you with to get your fame? I want to know.
Mm-hmm. Where did you make the sacrifice?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and
if-
what
that'd be
did you
cool-
sacrifice?
That'd be a cool idea. Hold on. Okay, no, okay. Sorry, everybody. We've gone too long. We can't let this continue. This conversation has gone on for far too long in this recording. Editor Patrick's gonna beat us to death if he finds out that we kept going. We used up all of his card space. So that's the show for now. We'll see you
next time where we'll discuss woke culture.
We'll see you Thursday when we discuss woke culture within 𝒂💅, a space adventure. Go watch it before Thursday. I expect all of you to comment how much you love that movie.
Holla from the hollow earth, y'all!